Her lunch was gone. Again. Same empty spot in the fridge, like it had learned her name just to erase it. The hum of the printers mixed with the faint drip of the coffee pot. That slow, tired rhythm the office never lost. Melissa closed the door quietly. She didn't sigh, didn't curse. Just stood there, staring at her own reflection in the steel handle. Behind her, someone laughed. That flat, open laugh that came from the corner where the sales guys sat too close together. "Maybe the ghost's hungry again," one of them said. Another voice. "Yeah, the Melissa's special vanished again." Laughter again, sharper this time. She walked back to her desk. The screensaver floated, that same slow logo looping like nothing had happened. She typed just to hear the keys. That sound, at least it was hers. Every day she brought the same thing. A small glass container, labeled in black marker. "Melissa, do not touch." Every day, half of it disappeared. Sometimes the whole thing. Even the Apple sheet sign with a post-it once. Gone. At first, she'd smiled through it. "Funny, right?" she'd said once to HR. They told her maybe she should keep it in a personal cooler. As if the problem was her trusting people too much. That night, she labeled the container again. Darker ink this time, harder pressure. The marker almost tore the plastic. Now, the fridge door had started to sound different. Heavier somehow. Each morning she opened it. She wanted to make coffee. The filter rattled like it didn't want to stay in place. Then she saw it, in the small trash bin near the sink, the corner of her label sticking out from under a napkin. Her handwriting. "Melissa, do not touch." Folded, smudged, crumpled. She looked around. Everyone was busy pretending to work. Brian was leaning on the counter, loud as always, talking about team effort and trust. Her hand tightened around the coffee scoop. The sound of metal hitting glass, soft, controlled. She smiled. Just a little. Maybe ghosts did have names after all. Brian's voice hit the room before the clock struck 9. "All right, people, who's stealing poor Melissa's 5-star meals again?" His tone carried that fake sympathy, the kind that always made the others laugh before they even heard the punchline. She looked up just once. He was standing near the fridge, coffee cup in hand, tie crooked like always, talking too loud for the size of the room. "Maybe it's a sign," he added, smirking. "Even her food wants a promotion." The laughter came again, easy and practiced. Melissa's fingers stayed on the keyboard. The click of her nails covered the noise. She didn't flinch, didn't meet anyone's eyes, just waited for the noise to burn out. When it finally did, she reached for her planner, drew a neat line under yesterday's date, and wrote one word beneath it: enough. The rest of the morning passed in fragments. Phones ringing, printers spitting paper, Brian's voice rising and falling like static in her head. She kept moving, slow but steady, answering calls, typing notes. Her rhythm was deliberate, precise enough to seem calm, sharp enough to keep her from shaking. At lunch, the fridge stood open again. Someone had left a yogurt lid on the counter, her brand. She picked it up, folded it once, and threw it in the trash. Nobody noticed. That night, the grocery store lights felt too bright. She walked down the aisles like she was following a plan only she could hear. Tomato sauce, pasta sheets, cheese, and then the small bottle tucked between food dyes and frosting supplies, blue food coloring. She turned it in her hand, watching the liquid shift under the fluorescent light. A boy stocking shelves glanced at her. She smiled. He didn't smile back. The checkout beeped. Plastic bags crinkled. Her steps in the parking lot sounded clear, echoing off the asphalt. The night air smelled like rain, though it hadn't fallen yet. When she reached her car, she set the bag on the passenger seat and looked at it for a long moment. Then she said softly, "Tomorrow, the fridge will notice." The office was almost empty when she arrived. Lights still flickered on the far side, the hum of the vending machine louder than usual. Melissa set her bag down, straightened her badge, and took a quiet breath. The fridge door creaked, a sound she knew too well. Inside, she placed her container. Lasagna, perfectly layered, sauce darker than usual, the label neat and centered. Melissa, do not touch. It looked harmless. That was the point. From her purse, she pulled her phone, swiped open the camera, hit record, and leaned it against the stack of paper cups on the counter. Just enough of an angle to see the door. She checked the frame once, then turned away. At her desk, the morning crawled. Emails, calls, the soft drone of office chatter. Every sound felt sharper now. She typed slower, her eyes drifting toward the break room every few minutes. No one noticed. At 10:30, Brian passed behind her. The smell of his cologne followed. Expensive, heavy. He stopped by the coffee pot, whistling something off-key, the rhythm breaking halfway through. Then the click of the fridge handle. A pause. Plastic lid. The scrape of a fork. She didn't move. Her fingers rested on the keys, frozen midward. The recording was running. She didn't need to look. For the next few minutes, the office buzzed the same way it always did, but underneath it, she could hear the pulse of her own heartbeat, quiet and steady. No anger, no nerves, just something colder, exact. When the sound stopped, she exhaled through her nose, slow, careful, almost like it mattered to keep the air from shaking. The fridge door closed. Footsteps faded. She turned the video off, slid the phone back into her purse, and kept typing. Her reflection in the monitor looked calm. Too calm. It almost didn't look like her anymore. A printer started somewhere behind her, one long, mechanical exhale. She glanced up. Let him take it, she thought. By the time she walked in, the meeting room was already half full. The hum of conversation stopped when Brian entered, loud, smiling, phone in one hand, coffee in the other. He always started the same way. Teamwork, people, trust, transparency. Melissa sat near the end of the table, notebook open, pen steady. Her phone lay face down beside it. She didn't need to look at the video again. She knew what it showed. Brian talked fast, words bouncing off glass and polished wood. He gestured big, confident, the kind of man who believed his own noise. Then, as he leaned forward, the light hit his mouth. Blue, not subtle, bright, unmistakable, the kind of color you couldn't unsee. Someone across the table choked on a laugh. Another coughed to cover it. Brian blinked, confused. Everything all right? He asked. Yeah, someone said, voice trembling. Just blue skies today. The laughter this time came quick and sharp, spreading in waves. He frowned, rubbed his tongue with his napkin. It only made it worse. The more he talked, the more ridiculous it looked. Transparency, trust, honesty, all from a man with a mouth that looked like a cartoon bruise. Melissa watched, pen hovering over the page. She wrote one line she didn't need to. Trust looks different now. He kept going, trying to push through. When he said, let's stay honest with each other, she looked up. Looks good on you, she said. Silence. Even the air stopped. Even the air conditioning paused, or maybe it only felt that way. Brian's jaw tightened. He glanced at the window, at the reflection of himself talking. He stopped mid-sentence. The meeting ended early. People left in small, quiet groups. Nobody looked directly at her. She stayed seated a little longer, tapping her pen lightly against the page. Outside, the copier started again, steady, mechanical, normal. But the day had already changed. The next morning, the office felt different, quieter, like someone had turned the volume down on everything. No laughter near the fridge. No stupid jokes. Even the printer sounded softer. Melissa came in early, as always. The break room lights buzzed faintly, the kind of sound that used to annoy her. Today, it didn't. She opened the fridge. Everything was in order, neat, labeled, untouched. Her container sat exactly where she'd left it. For a second, she just looked at it, the cold air brushing her wrist. The camera wasn't there anymore. She didn't need it. The phone video had never been shared. It didn't have to be. Sometimes the rumor worked faster than the truth. Brian hadn't come in since that meeting. Flu, someone had said. Maybe stress. Nobody asked questions. Nobody wanted answers. By noon, the smell of reheated lunches filled the air. The office hummed again, but in a different key, smaller, careful. Melissa sat at her desk, stirring her coffee. The mug said "Do not touch," a gift from no one in particular. It had just appeared one morning. On the white ceramic near the handle, a faint blue stain had settled, impossible to scrub out. She watched it while she worked, like a secret mark left by her own steadiness. Outside, rain slid down the glass in quiet streaks, and somewhere behind her, someone closed the fridge door, gently this time. Before leaving, she packed her bag, pushed in her chair, and turned off her monitor. The reflection on the dark screen caught her face for a second. Calm, unreadable, finally still. On her way out, she opened the fridge and took her lunch. The shelf was empty now, but it was hers. She smiled. Sometimes silence leaves color behind.